Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me on today's video. As we go into the second part of the year, I started ruminating on something and I thought to share with you on this video. If you're joining me for the first time on this channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and turn on your notification bell so that you can get more useful tips from us. Today's video, I'm going to be running you through something that I believe will help you as we go into the second half of this year. And this is the importance of trusting your guts in sales. So when I talk about trusting your instinct, I mean the things that come naturally to you as a result of you putting yourself in the situation of selling, or the things that you're able to bring out of you when it comes to a selling situation without having to think too much about it. And so this video is going to help you to come into a space where the things you need to put in place and the way you need to go into the second half of the year so that you can increase revenue for your business or increase sales in that company that you work for. So one of the things that I've talked about is that as I go into the second half of the year, something that I think would help you, and I personally have said to myself, is to increase my hunger. And when I talk about hunger, it means what is that driving force that makes you to want to sell more? What is that thing that wants you to increase revenue for your business? If you don't have a burning desire, or if there's no hunger to sell more, then you'll not be able to do things that will even make you go extra mile, or things that will come naturally to you without having to plan it. So what this means is that in your endeavors as you go into the second half of the year, you need to define your strong why. For me, one of the things that I've said to myself is that I want to be able to earn a lot more commission as I go into the second half of the year, because that is one of the things that I feel drives me, and also to be able to surpass my target. So thinking about those two things, I thought about the fact that these are things that will motivate me and get me to do the things that I need to do. So for example, I remember a situation where, I had to do something that came naturally to me without even having to think too much about it. And this is something that a lot of you might have done before, but I just thought to mention it in this video. It was a situation where I was trying to get a business from a customer, and the customer at one of the times told me about her husband doing a 70th birthday celebration, and she wanted to invite me to come join them for that celebration. I felt it was a good way to actually, build a stronger relationship with that customer. So immediately she mentioned it to me. I said, oh, why not? I'll be there. And I ensured that I went for that wedding, that birthday celebration. I even took my family along and we were there together. Do you know that after our event, the relationship between her and that customer even got stronger? To the extent that the business that I was pursuing with the customer, I was able to get it, and that customer even referred me to other people to do business with me. So that's one of the ways by which I've been able to do something out of my natural, out of my instinct, based on what I wanted to expand, based on the hunger to actually get more. But I said to myself that as I go into the second half of the year, this is something that I also need to think through about, and something that I want to also ensure that drives me as I go into the second half of the year. And for you as well, it's something that you should also put in your mind, that what is that driving force? What is that thing that will get you out of your bed? What is that thing that will keep you going and make you go over and beyond to surpass your sales target? The second thing that I want you to think through is about how you need to focus on the end goal. So in every sales process, or as a business owner, there is always an end goal, and the end goal is for you to always close sales. So what that means is that in everything that you do, you need to think about what is the end. Whatever obstacle that comes your way, because in sales, there will always be obstacles. There will always be concerns. There will always be objections from customers. There will always be a reason why things should not go the way you want to go. But if you think about the end, you think about what you want to see at the end of the tunnel, then that will continue to drive you to achieving your sales targets. So for example, I remember a situation where I was trying to sell to a customer, and I was trying to use the consultative approach. That means the process of trying to identify a problem and trying to match the solution that I had to that problem. So I'd gone into that customer's site, identified one of the problems that the customer had, and I started telling the customer about the implication of that problem and how if they solve that problem, it could even increase revenue for them. After opening the customer's eyes to that problem, the customer was glad, he was interested. But immediately I left that place, I started calling the customer. The customer wasn't willing to talk. He started saying different things, and it seemed like he wasn't interested anymore. I realized that this was an opportunity to actually get the customer to buying this product and also be able to solve their own problems. So I kept going to that customer, and the customer also started bringing other people into that conversation. And one of the people the person brought into the conversation was the end user and the finance person. And there were questions from both ends. So I realized that got their interest and they were interested in doing that business. But the challenge they had was that they felt that the price was a lot because they were comparing it to another product that was not a like for like what I was trying to sell to them. But the fact that I've been able to help them, see that problem and provide a solution, they felt that they owed me. But the only challenge here was the price. But what I ensured to do was that I did not leave that customer. I kept going there to them. And when I realized that my company were offering discounts, I continued to pitch it to them. But they still felt that it was still higher. After a while, what I said to the customer was that, do you know that if you had bought this solution a year ago, you would have paid lesser for it? So the next time my company was doing a promo, I just told them about it and I told them that this was the opportunity to get it. And within no time, the customer called me back and they were able to do that business with me. So what I learned from that situation is that at the end of everything, even when you face any objection, just focus on the end goal. Focus on what you want to achieve with that customer and what you want to see happen in that place. The third thing I will talk about is that in everything, also be truthful to yourself. There are some sales that you might not be able to close because of different situations. It's either you're selling the wrong product to the customer or the customer's needs doesn't match up with your product. So in that situation, you don't need to force it. You could continue to build a relationship with the customer, but you know that at that moment, you are not able to help the customer solve his problem. So what you need to do is that just ensure that you're truthful to yourself and you tell yourself that, oh, this is not the ideal customer for me, if that's the case. Or it might even be a situation whereby the customer is trying to even reach an ethical issue. So for example, if a customer wants you to give them bribe, for example, to be able to get a deal within their company, this is something that is ethical and you might be very careful and ensure that it's not something that you're pressing, because if it's an ethical issue, it's something that doesn't match up with your standard or the policy of your business, then it's not a business that is for you then. You might need to walk away. So sometimes you might need to be truthful to yourself depending on the situation that you're faced with. So how do you then go into the second half and ensure that you are improving on all these things that I've talked about? So one of the things you can do is to continue to educate yourself. And when you talk about education, you talk about informal education and maybe formal education. Do you know that a strong sales experience and strong business knowledge combined together is always a great one to have? So with your sales skills or your sales experience, you continuously need to sharpen that skill through education or through knowledge. And one of the things you can do to get education could be attending seminars, listening to other experienced salespeople and finding out how they've been able to improve, or even getting feedback from customers. These are things that can continue to improve your knowledge and help you to know how you can continue to meet your target. The second thing that you need to do is to plan. Ensuring that you are planning your sales process and following it is something that you also need to consider. Because once you continuously follow your sales process, after a while, it becomes a natural thing to you. And then you see yourself responding even without thinking too much about what you need to do. Combining these two things, education and planning, you will see how your sales figures can be improved as we go into the second half of the year. So if there's anything that you've tried out or you think will be helpful to you as you go into the second half of the year, please share in the comment section below so that any other person who is reading through can also learn from it, or we can also learn from it. And if there's any way you think we can continue to improve as a channel, kindly share in the link as well below. Thank you so much for staying tuned to today's video. See you next time.